Hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, driving. Sometimes, I don't really like to do the driving videos, but I don't know, things come onto my mind and I don't want to lose the thought. So, yeah, I know you can only see part of my body, but it's not about that. It's about hearing the word. We think about the demonic realm a lot because it's everywhere. It's everywhere we go. I mean, there's not a store we don't go into, not a road that we don't travel down, that there isn't some kind of demonic stuff happening. Road rage, where do you think that comes from? There wasn't so much road rage growing up as a child. You would see things. You go through life and you go, wow, what in the world? You see the devil's timing everywhere. I mean, it's insane how much hatred we have out there. There's so much pridefulness, so much people that are becoming about themselves. So when you go through life looking, it's kind of like, I want a better relationship with Jesus. Well, okay, go talk to him. But also be still. Don't just pray and get up and leave. You got to sit there and let him talk back to you. You got to let him interact with your life. He will interact with you. What good is a teacher that never talks with you? Never explains things to you? It's useless. It's like going and talking to yourself in a mirror. You're having a one-sided conversation. All you hear and see is the mouth moving, and all you hear is the words that you're speaking coming back to you because you're looking in a mirror. Well, if you have a one-sided mirror relationship with Jesus, it explains why things continue to go in your life. We're a mess. I mean, think about it. We're a mess. We try to push forward. We go into churches, and churches are spiritually falling asleep. And you get distracted. See, the devil wants all these things to happen. See, the devil wants technology to increase. He wants you to be at your finest of the finest hour. But here's the crazy part of it. What if technology stopped? How many of these youth, how many adults even at these days, would probably go stir crazy without a phone in your hand? I mean, you sit at a restaurant and just look around at how many people are constantly on their phone. The devil lost. He's making you lose that interaction with people. COVID, another one. He silenced you by putting you in there, going up to a window. People went out and adopted dogs, and then afterwards dumped the dogs back off. Oh, I don't need them now. Because you just wanted to be outside. You wanted to see people because you were going stir crazy. So many divorces, so many abuses were going on. We're a mess. Truly, we are. The United States is a mess. We fear everything that's going to happen. And the devil's ground is getting stronger. See, Lucifer is coming right now and laying the foundation down on the stage for the show of him. He doesn't care about Damien. He doesn't care about what we call the Antichrist. He doesn't care about any of that. He's setting the stage for him. That final performance. Oh, here he comes. What he's been doing all along. He doesn't care about the demons. He doesn't care about what he claims as his son because he mocks God, the Antichrist, Damien. He doesn't care. You ever think about this? This is the stuff that goes through my head. If God put Jesus and Mary, where did Damien come from? Well, we know angels came to Earth. They end up having relations with people on Earth, where we got the demigods from. If you really think that's possible, then why is it not possible that the devil planted the seed of Damien into someone, which rises up as the Antichrist? Where do you think you get these demonic kids from? Because they are offsprings of the devil. You don't have to believe it. It's just food for thought. Them little nuggets, I call it. You never know what you're dealing with. So, look at us. We're a mess. God called up warriors. But instead, we're standing behind everybody else going, well, yeah, God called you. Go on. You know, the David and Goliath. They're all standing there going, yeah. Oh, I'm a mighty warrior. My sword is strong. And then Goliath comes out from the distance and you're going, what, are they carrying him? Oh, no. Wow. Yeah, look at... Oh, I just remembered. I gotta go put that pot roast on. I'll be back. Because we're taking away the power of God and the authority that Jesus has given us. We're taking away that power. Very powerful, this. If you ever want to really think about the disciples and the power that Jesus has given us, why things don't happen, what did he say to them? Ye of little faith, because they couldn't cast out demons. Ye of little faith. Jesus spoke it, and it happened. The Bible speaks of, again, the legions being tossed into the swine, the pigs, and then they went and drowned themselves. Demons do not want to go back to hell. That should tell you something. You think a demonic, evil entity doesn't even want to go back there. Think about how horrifying the sound of that is. But yet we live a fleshly life, and I want this. Well, fame and fortune, you know, that 15 minutes of fame, some people's 15 minutes of fame, they go, well, I overcome that 15 minutes. I've been in the movies for years. Yeah, but you also sold yourself. And when you're not willing to bow down and move up that pyramid, you're no good to the devil. Look at them. They're all wearing red. The Grammys, halftime at NFL. I'm here to tell you right now, I'm not watching the NFL no more. I'm not watching another football game on TV. Because if the NFL is allowing the devil to enter into it, I don't want no part of it. You know, I think about certain people's quarterbacks' names and players, and I praise God for the ones that would bow and kneel up and look up at Jesus, not for the ones that would turn their backs because they wanted to set an example. But wow, that's okay. But you mentioned God. No, rise up. No. Well, wait a minute. They can bow down and turn their backs, but I can't bow down and worship my God. Well, people, if you ever look at the book of Daniel, right there, exactly what the NFL did, the book of Daniel. Bow down to my statue, but not your God. I don't need the NFL no more. I will never buy another object or anything in the NFL. And I thought about this long and hard. And matter of fact, I just, you know, someone's birthday just passed and got in this NFL Cleveland Browns. Yuck. Sorry, Browns fans, but yuck. Not saying the team that I liked was any better, but at least, never mind. I'm not even going there. But But you look at the pridefulness. Look at the pridefulness of this. They call themselves a goat. People, do you understand what this? Think about this. They call themselves a goat. You know what the goat is in the demonic realm? Yeah. No wonder why they call themselves a goat. But we also must have to remember how some people cheated. Pass the buck off of deflation of footballs and stuff. You know, I know a certain family, actually a few family members that blame people for everything. It's everybody's fault. They even try to convince people it's their fault. Well, but you don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is you. What you have done. You don't want to talk about the truth of it. I go back and I talk about the time that a person came into the nursing home I was working at, and she, I couldn't stand her at first. I mean, honestly, she walked in, it was a few days later, I'm down there packing my tools, I'm going, I can't work under this person. And I ended up trusting her. And she became like a mom to me. She became my landlord. She gave me huge discount in the time that it was just me raising my two children. She even let me pay for 2 weeks, part of the rent. You know, people build you up sometimes, and you want to believe them. And I remember one day when she looked at me and I was talking about stuff, and she goes, "This is all a lie." And the way she said it floored me. And then she kind of explained, because at this point I'm like pissed off. Like, how dare you speak to me like this? I wish this was a lie. I wish this was a dream. I wish this was a movie. It happened. I'm sorry that you lived in a glass house and you played with rocks and a window never broke. That you don't understand what people go through in real life. You know, I'm glad that you have such a great life that you didn't have to grow up like this. I'm grateful. But then things happen. You know, people forget about all the things that you've sacrificed and the things that you've done. And people forget about what a place looked like and the things that you're trying to do. Things were broken beforehand. I'm telling you all this because later on this person said that I will never be like your mom. And she did exactly what my mom did. Walked away. Claimed to be her son, but then walk away from her. I mean, claimed for me to be her son. Because she couldn't remember. I did try to fix the place up. I can't help it. Tiles were falling off the wall. I mean, how old were those tires? You know, and the thing of it is, at that point, I go, well, I got to make an access panel to be able to get in to fix the shower without tearing the tub wall and stuff up. I have the parts and everything in there. You know, you go in the memories and you think about how the devil keeps moving you along. And you struggle with things in life. And you don't understand. Now, this is right at the time that I just got laid off from both jobs. Unbelievable. You know, and it's the concept. I live in my head. I don't forget a lot of things. And I could go back through each and every moment of this. But today, I let it go. Today I go, you know what? I know everything that these women in that building may have had different intentions, but they don't understand when the bottom got pulled out and you dropped through that floor. It was a horrible feeling. It was a horrible feeling that all of them knew what was about to take place. A week after I got married, I go back. My own family wrote letters against me. Unbelievable, because I had family working there through the housekeeping and laundry department. Unbelievable. The one thought she was going to be able to take power and take the management position, but they bypassed her and went to my niece because they could control my niece. She would do whatever they want because she wasn't strong enough to stand up to people. My sister then was the one who worked the laundry. My niece worked upstairs in the housekeeping department. So my niece becomes the manager, and the administrator, my so-called mom, could control it better. See, I was that prodigal son at that point. But I didn't put myself there, people put me out there. When I needed people the most, because I'm in a whirlwind at this point. Everything. Just got married. We got 3 teenagers. My son left at the time. Then comes back, and I find out later on he only came back because he wanted school clothes. And nobody was willing to put the money down. So again, I watched the business, the hope that I had, the only dream I had, sell off everything for pennies on the dollar to put these kids back in school. It took a while for unemployment to kick in. They didn't fight that. And I was thankful for that. So in the meantime, the lady across the street, which was a widow, she needed help. So I went over there, cut up some branches for her that fell off the tree, and she tried to pay me, and I said, no, thank you. I said, I just wanted to clear my thoughts, and I was able to help her. So she cooked a big meal and brought it over. You know, and it's like you're looking at money and you're looking at food and you're going, oh Lord. You know, we didn't need money. I needed to see people care. Instead, everybody comes against me. You know, I reached back out to this person's daughter, and I'm not over, you almost cost me 10 grand. I didn't know it almost cost you nothing. You claim to be a Christian. You claim to be a follower of God. But yet, I had tickets to go to a concert one night. Country star came in, and we had a place called Tangiers, and he was going to be playing there. And yeah, I was still in the new Christian area, you know. Not saying country music's bad, not saying... You got to determine what's right and wrong in your life with God. I can't determine it for you. I'd say if it's... Listen to the lyrics, and don't glorify God, then why listen to it? Because you're allowing the devil to still tempt you with stuff. Or bring sadness to you. How many country songs? I mean, it's like I used to hear people say you play a country song backwards, and you get back to where things were good. So I'm talking with her and sending messages, and you know, just good morning. I hope you have a good day, and then the vomit comes out. Don't ever talk to us, and I'm like, You forget about me going over there in the middle of the night, working on your furnace. Forget about me coming over and fixing your gutters. You forget about going and picking up stuff on my days that I'm supposed to be spending with my children. That they would put on there, you need to spend more time with your kids. You forget about all these things. But I'm the bad person. Because I was asked to leave keys in a place that I didn't get a chance to finish. I'm trying to hold down something of a job because I just lost so much income. Trying to hold down a job, trying to move our stuff into another place. Fix this place, clean this place, because I appreciated everything they did. I appreciate the help. I appreciate that start, giving me the courage. And then in an instant, when I was no longer a value in the building, I was no longer a value to the devils. Where do I go with all this? Right here. You see how we put people in place in our lives that you can control. The devil does the same thing. It took a lot. I remember when I got the keys were taken from me and I wasn't allowed to take nothing out of the building. My tools, my equipment, anything. Anything. You'll have to wait. Why? It's mine. Well, we want to make sure. Are you kidding me right now? So I went downstairs because I'd always put my wallet down in this drawer, and I went down there and I pulled out an envelope, and they said, "What's in the envelope?" I said, "Money. It's mine. It's not the company's." Nothing is worse when you come to pick up your stuff and you got people standing over you. The one lady, I trusted her. You know, I would talk to her about stuff. And she's looking at me and she goes, and I'm pulling out because I had some Pittsburgh pencils and pens and I'm going through it. And she says, "Nelson, I'm not worried about the pens and stuff." And I said, "Listen, I don't want to take anything out of this place. That's not mine." I said, at this point, I just want to go. And I'm trying to hold back tears, and she looked at me and she goes, I'll be right back. And I'm throwing the stuff in my car, and she never came back. I went upstairs. I was trying to find one of my drills. I couldn't find it. I couldn't remember where I put it. My brain is all over the place. And I said, I don't even care at this point. And I remember looking at the DON at the time, and I remember thinking in my head going, why wouldn't you just tell me this was coming? And it came to me going, friendship and this love didn't matter. Everybody's purpose of a job mattered. One by one, that person and all of them turned against me. You know, there was an incident that happened in this particular thing too, that, you know, people, such hate. I walked back in that building because they were hiring again, and that place was like a home to me. You know, way before all these other people came in. And the girl sat behind the receptionist desk, despises me because I came against them for the wrong that they were doing. See, today I stand up for the wrong, and I come against it. If it's wrong, I don't care how you feel about it. I don't need fakeness in my life. I've had too many years of that. I've always said I watch people I watch Christians more than I watch sinners. I knew sinners. I was in that realm long enough. I knew every part of sin. I could tell you there is stuff in sin that you probably would never even think about. There is people that come into your life that you just go, whoa. You know, it's that moments where I say in life that you go, a chance. Sometimes we don't take chances because we're afraid of what's going to happen. Well, it's only 50-50. Something's either good or something bad's going to flop out of it. That's it. There's no in between. Like heaven and hell. There's no lukewarm. You can't serve two masters. It's impossible. I work both jobs at the same building. I serve one master better than the other, and it's guaranteed it'll always happen. You had to determine. Like when I clocked out of this job to go over here to be the housekeeping supervisor and the laundry supervisor. Anything else we need to fix? I don't write it in the book. No. I can't. I'm on another clock. See, the truth of it is, I had no proof anymore because I was told to stop clocking. You don't have to clock in. Just write it down. Well, I did what I was told. They fired me under this. I had no proof that I was doing both jobs. They fired me under the fact they said that basically it's considered theft. Theft? They tried to push me out the door, but see, I'm a strong-willed person. I cared about them people. For once in my life, I cared about something else than anything else in the world. I cared for these people. Most people, they didn't have anybody. And I wanted them to have a nice establishment, their home per se now, because that's what it is. Many of them, we're never going to leave that place. And I wanted them to be comfortable. I wanted them to have nice walls to look at and things in their rooms fixed where they could watch it. You know, unbelievable some of the things in life that takes place. I went from 40 hours to 30 hours to 25 hours. And then they wanted to drop that down, and then basically I stayed on mowing the lawns for 8 hours. They gave me 8 hours to do that, to maintain the grounds, because that was way cheaper than paying the landscaper guy that came in to do the landscaping and mowing and stuff. Trust that. I did it though, because money, you can't survive without it. It's how you use money. Not saying money's bad. The love of money is bad. But you know, you go through life and you look at how the devil puts stuff in place. I was deceived. When I finally opened myself up to people. I was deceived. One by one. Disappeared. I let the wrong people in over and over and over. Experiments. Take this, try this. And then I found out later on it was just, it's no different than living 24 years of nonsense. I was in that building for a long time and trusted the wrong people. Again, I started having very much trust issues, and it took me, and this is all before Jesus now, I started going back into church, started trying to change my life, and then all this dropped out from the bottom, and I had a trust issue again, because I watched one by one. And that's why I'm saying there's different levels of how you fall under Jesus. You know, even in the fact that you tried to explain everything that happened, nobody wants to hear it. Instead, out of, and I've never told anybody this, and my mother, my actual mother, and the one that I called my mom, yes, same one, both spoke a word to me, and I'll never forget. It's taken me till this time that I'm at in my life, and it was roughly last year, I believe, when I was finally able to let it go. One word haunted me for years, and it broke me so bad inside. You know, that's why I talk about sometimes when you look at a clown, and I've mentioned this on videos, just because a clown's smiling doesn't mean it's not sad inside. It paints the happy face on. I know that feeling all too well. My birth mother, that I was born under, told me one day, I wish I never had you. You're like your father. You're going to be just like your father. And remember, I remember seeing my father choke my mother and almost killing her. And at that moment, I wanted to choke her. I couldn't believe she was saying the words. But that's not the words now. Well, I said one word. She spoke. She's in the kitchen and she's rambling on and just yelling and screaming at me, and I'm like, because she came back. This is when my mom left us, my sister and myself, and she'd leave for days on end. You know, back then, food stamps came in paper form, like a checkbook. You just tear out the money out of these books. The ones you didn't have to have a book, but the 10s and the 5s, 10s, and 20s, they wanted to see the book to make sure the serial numbers matched up. And I said one day to a lady, she goes, well, this 10 doesn't match the serial number. I said, I know, it was change. Back like you would give change for money. It was because they keep a certain amount of food stamp bills in there, so where somebody gave them a 20 and something was $5 and something, they'd give them back a 10. And I was like, it was a change. It's changed back. Oh, I see. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Today they got cards, they put it in there, punch in a code, and nobody knows the wiser. Because whether or not it took so long, I don't know. It's my thing is, some people were you could go in a whole different direction on this. But I remember standing there going, are you going to at least take us to the store? I mean, my sister was more, I mean, she would buck up against my mom at times too. But it was the fact that most of the time it was me. You know, that's what even in some videos I've talked about going, I never really felt like a brother. I always felt like a dad, even to my mother. You know, I never felt like a son. It was more like a dad figure. And I remember going, seriously, I'm not saying this is right. My mother's name was Elizabeth Jane. And I remember going, you know what, Elizabeth? Pathetic that you would do this to us. I said, instead now, I'm going to have to walk up to the store because your daughter is so pregnant, it's beyond pregnant. She can't walk, she can't carry stuff back. And you're not even going to take us to the store. I'm busy. Leave me alone. I said, why are you even here? You come here, you bring your boyfriend here, you go in the bedroom, do whatever you're doing, take showers and then get out of here before we're up. What's the sense of coming here? I'm asking you. I laid on the ground to fix the car last night because you said, because the muffler came off, if I went out there, got it fixed, you would take it to the store. Now you're leaving. She turned around and looked at me and said, "You're toxic. Get away from me." It was like being sucker punched by Mike Tyson. And I don't know what that feels like, but that's, if I had to ever feel Mike Tyson hit me, I guess that's what it would feel like. Well, the very person that claimed to be that mother figure in my life and I trusted as a mother, for once I felt love, said the same thing. I'll never forget reading the text message, and all I could see is, "You're toxic in my life." I'm toxic in your life. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for leaving me when I needed you most. You know, you are right. You are like my mother. Exactly. But you know, the difference is, I still love that woman. I really do. I pray all the time for her. I heard that, I don't know if it was a heart attack or a stroke that she had, and I heard about it, and I was sad. I was so sad that I couldn't go see her. I was so sad that she was so stressed out at a building that put her into that area of life. And I'm thinking for a split moment, I wonder if she knows now how I felt. See, people, a change of events. That's why I said we're a mess sometimes. When the Lord started casting people out of my life, it was painful. You know, you don't want to let go of stuff sometimes. Just like kind of like doing these videos sometimes. I really don't want to do them, but I know it's the comments and the impact it's helping people, and I, for once again, have a purpose. As crazy as that sounds, you would say, well, did you not say you love? Yeah, I love Jesus. Yes, I serve Jesus. But just having something else to focus on, instead of the not understanding things in life. I don't need to understand it. I surrender it to Jesus. He understands it, and I accept out of faith He's doing what's best for me. I don't ever want to hear these words: "Ye of little faith," or "Depart from me, I do not know you." Because I tell you, and I'm being truthful, hearing those words would be worse than going to hell. Hell at that point could not do anything to me. There was no torture on the earth can be worse than hearing those words from Jesus. And that is the truth. Today, I love Jesus. Because I know people come and go, family come and go. I've seen it all my life. I thought back the other day when I was thinking about something, when I said I wouldn't go back and change anything out of my life. There's three things that came to me. Actually, four. Three things that came to me that I would change in my life. I truly would change. The one thing that I will speak of is this. I have enough faith and trust to believe today, if this is the journey that God has me on, I would still be here today, because I always thought if I didn't do what I did, would I be here where I'm at today? That's a foolish thinking, because it's like saying God couldn't bring me to where I'm at today, doing what I'm doing today. Do I like driving this big old truck down the road? No. I accepted it. This is where He has me. Does it give a certain lifestyle? Yes, I want to live comfortable. I don't want to live struggling no more. And I'm thankful for what He gives. I'm not physically capable of doing the things I've done before. Could I go back to a nursing home and work? Absolutely. Because I'm physically capable of doing that. Will they pay what I have to make? Probably not. If God wanted it, yes, it would happen. Could I go back to an apartment complex and do what I needed to do every day as a laborer? No. I physically know. I denied it for years. Unless I get a surgery done, chances of doing all that is time, cost. When you get hurt and things happen, workman's comp, what a joke. Well, we're going to treat this, we're going to do that, we're not going to do this, we're not going to, it's like, who gives you the right to make up rules? Well, you need to do therapy. I'm asking you, I've moved, this is where I'm at, give me a place so I can do it. Nothing. And then they kicked the case out. Now there's nothing I can do. But I leave it up to God, and I deliver it to Him. Let your will be done. This is how I got to live the rest of my life. And so be it. This is how He wants it. I accept it. Do I miss doing the simple things in life? Yes. Do I miss going out for a nice run? Why am I telling you all this? I'm glad you asked. Appreciate what you're able to do. Appreciate God today for what He gives you and what you are able to do. Don't take it for granted, because tomorrow may change. And you may not be able to do the things you used to be able to do. Love a little bit more today. Grow a little bit stronger. Appreciate what you have in your life. Appreciate the chances that you take that may open up doors that you never thought that was possible to happen. Sometimes when you cross paths with people, one of my favorite movies, and I know some people are probably going to go, wow, I would never expect that. If I listen to myself talk, I would never expect it, and I can't even believe I'm sharing it with you. I know I talk about a lot of different movies because, again, I was a movie buff. It was my new drug. You Got Mail. Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks. You Got Mail. I'm being serious. You never know how many times you pass someone on the street, and that is the person you're talking to. You never know what happens in your life or who you're with. Because if you ever watch that movie, every time I watch it, I just sit there and go, Wow. How many times did God put something in my life that I walked past and refused to listen to? How many times could I have been in a different spot in life and not living and walked into a 24-year nightmare? You know, that chance. Because you go, I don't want to break a boundary. I don't want to do this. Or I'm feeling this way, but I don't know who to talk to. You know, I don't talk to a lot of people about so much. There's stuff the person even I'm married to doesn't even know about me. Little by little, I open up. I look at it and go, how does God heal when we're lost and broken? Well, I believe that's why He led me to YouTube. Not only does He heal me through it, but He's helping people realize there's hope. And that hope is Him. Through Him comes the Father. So, where are you at today? We may be a mess, but we got to allow Him to mold and sculpt us each day. We got to allow Him to be the Lord of Lords and the love of our lives above all things. Spouses, children, because all that stuff can be gone. Seriously, it can't be. We got to allow Him to be the most important thing in our lives. And I really mean this. He has to be the most important thing and the most... Because I tell you, I always thought when I heard people speak of this, I'm like, yeah, right. Well, I don't know. I do know this. I wouldn't be here today. The last few years have been a journey in itself. Some of them very difficult to deal with. And some of them, I was like, times I go, you know, this is worse than being in hell. If that's possible. But it was. But anyways, people, God bless you. I love you. Until the next one.